This is the story of one of the most disturbing serial killers in Russian history. But the most terrifying part is not the number of victims, and not even the fact that everything happened inside an ordinary apartment. The most terrifying part is that he was not alone. He was helped. He was protected. And people knew. For years, people walked past the same door. In the center of the city, unaware that children were disappearing behind it. This is a story about a man who could have been stopped at the very beginning. About a mother who chose to protect her son instead of protecting others. About a system that saw the warning signs and chose to look away. And about fear. The kind of fear that kept everyone silent. This is not just true crime. This is a story about how evil can live next door for years and remain unseen. This is the story of Alexander Spesivtsev, one of the most disturbing serial killers in modern Russian history. Alexander Spesivtsev was born in 1970. At least, that is the official date. In reality, his birth was registered 2 years later. For the first years of his life, he officially did not exist. No medical records, no doctors, no oversight. He grew up with his mother Ludmila and his older sister. His father was a miner. He drank heavily. He was violent, and eventually, he left the family. When Alexander was 4, they moved into an apartment on Pionersky Avenue, number 53. A normal building in a central district, not a dangerous area. This apartment would later become infamous. As a child, Alexander was weak and sickly, poor eyesight, constant headaches, frequent complaints. His mother's care slowly turned into something else. Total control, total protection, no boundaries. She shielded him from conflict, from responsibility, from consequences. In this family, Alexander was never wrong. At school, Alexander was invisible. He had no close friends, average grades, no interests that connected him to others. Teachers treated him carefully. They were warned not to touch him, not to pressure him. His mother worked nearby. She controlled the narrative, excused absences, defended every incident. Socially, he failed. He felt inferior, unwanted, ignored, and resentment began to grow. Outside school, the behavior changed. He vandalized property, provoked neighbors, escalated slowly. When residents complained, his mother retaliated. Aggressively, legally, relentlessly. People learned a lesson. Stay away from that family. And Alexander learned something too. He learned that nothing would happen to him. As an adult, Alexander committed theft. He was arrested, placed in detention. During evaluation, he exhibited extreme behavior. Doctors diagnosed him with schizophrenia. He was declared legally insane, sent to a psychiatric hospital. But treatment failed. He refused medication, became aggressive, then escaped. No alarm was raised. No search followed. He returned home. Later, he entered a violent relationship. The abuse escalated. The woman died. Experts later concluded he fully understood his actions. He was legally responsible. And then, nothing. No prison, no monitoring, no follow-up. Alexander Spesivtsev walked free back into the same apartment. This was the point where everything could have been stopped. It was not. The apartment becomes a trap. In 1996, everything changed. The apartment stopped being a home. It became a trap. Spesivtsev began inviting people inside. Voluntary. That part mattered to him. Control was not enough. He needed consent. Submission. His victims were often teenagers. Runaways. Vulnerable. Trusting. He offered cigarettes. Money. Simple promises. Sometimes he invited groups. A group feels safer. A group makes mistakes. Inside the apartment, there was no escape. Neighbors heard noises, but this was the 1990s. Crime was everywhere. Police were overwhelmed. Disappearances were common. Children vanished daily. No one imagined. The horror was behind one door. The role of the mother. The most disturbing part of this case is not Alexander. It is his mother. Lyudmila Spesivtsev did not stop him. According to testimony, she helped him. She knew she entered the apartment. She removed evidence. Sometimes, she brought victims herself. Forensic experts later noted that bodies were dismembered by more than one person. Different techniques, different hands. A mother who chose loyalty over humanity. At any moment, she could have ended it. Why nitrogen monoxide once stopped him? After his arrest, people asked the same question. How could this happen? In a residential building, the answer is not indifference. It is fear. Neighbors were afraid of Lyudmila, afraid of retaliation, afraid of legal trouble, and society was collapsing. The 1990s in Russia were chaotic, violento, unstable. Children disappeared constantly. Police chased dozens of theories. Organ trafficking, gangs, human trafficking. No one looked. At apartment 53, the system did not connect the dots because the system was broken. Arrest, trial, and aftermath. Spesivtsev was arrested by chance. Utility workers. A visit. She did not. Police entered. The truth emerged. He confessed to multiple murders. The exact number remains unknown. The trial was closed. Details were rarely spoken aloud. Psychiatric experts declared him insane. He was sent to a high-security hospital. His mother was convicted, sentenced to prison. She showed no remorse. Years later, she attempted to return to the apartment. The girl in the video is 15-year-old Olga. She became the last captive of Alexander Spesivtsev. The man, later known as the Novokuznetsk butcher. Spesivtsev did not simply kill. He tortured his victims. He humiliated them. And after that, he consumed their bodies. Everything that remained of the murdered victims was removed from the apartment by the killer's mother. Lyudmila Spesivtsev. She carried the remains to the trash in aluminum boot and told no one about her son's crimes. Inside the apartment, police found Olga, along with human remains. This was not ignorance. This was participation. Lyudmila did not stop him. According to testimony, she helped him. At any moment, she could have ended it. She did not. The city reacted with rage. Some wounds do not heal. Psychological and moral conclusion. Alexander Spesivtsev does not look like a monster. That is the lesson. He looked ordinary, unremarkable, invisible. That is why he was ignored. This case is not only about mental illness, it is about control. Enmeshment, a toxic bond between parent and child. It is about a system that dismissed warnings, lost files, ignored responsibility. And it is about silence, because evil rarely announces itself. Sometimes it lives quietly behind a door. Thank you for watching. If you want more true crime stories that go beyond the headlines, subscribe and leave a comment.